Everett Link, veteran New Orleans bassist, sideman. The man is a beast. An upright guru.
Hello, I'm Robin Rory, founder of Legacy Music. Letters from Everett is an innovative jazz project featuring the stories and music inspired by the stories from the life of New Orleans jazz bassist Everett Link. At almost 70 years of age, Everett Link is still an active sideman in the New Orleans jazz scene. 3 years ago I met Everett and I was instantly inspired by his passion for music and his desire to pass what he had learned on to the next generation. Immediately I conceptualized this project, Letters from Everett, as being a project that records his stories and then music inspired from the stories. We need your help to make this project a reality. We need your help to pass Everett's stories on to the next generation. We want to inspire musicians all over the world, and you can help us do it. If you would like to hear some of Everett's stories, you can visit our Blog Talk Radio site at www.blogtalkradio.com/Legacy Music Global. Thank you for your support in making this project a reality.
So now we got to talk about one of the stories from the interview that's actually on our blogtalkradio.com/Legacy Music Global. The interview with Everett Link that started this project, Letters from Everett. The story about Duke Ellington, when you were playing with him and you embarrassed yourself.
Well, I wasn't embarrassed. Everybody else was embarrassed for me. Duke Ellington came, I was on doing a TV show at Channel 4 in New Orleans years ago. And Duke Ellington came, was one of the guests on the show too. So after Ronnie Cole Trio was playing on the stage, we invited Duke up to play a tune. He sits down on the piano and he says, "What would you guys like to play?" I say, "Do you know Satin Doll?" He wrote Satin Doll. Of course he knows Satin Doll. And I should have said, "I'd like to do Satin Doll." But I said, "Do you know Satin Doll?" Everybody else just broke up because the man wrote the tune, and I knew he did, but it was like boom. So I had mud on my face, and that was it. And that just makes me laugh thinking about it. I know I wasn't wrong, but anyway, I had to eat crow. But that's how it goes.
Let's talk about that real quickly on the interview, the concept of New Orleans funk, the story behind that.
Okay, I was working at the Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans. It's now called the Fairmont Roosevelt. Years ago, and a bass player came in who was working with Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls was a great blues singer during the 60s, 70s, and you know, I guess he's still great if he's still around, but I don't think so. Anyhow, his bass player was listening to me play with Ronnie, and he made comment of my style of playing, that it sounded like that New Orleans feel, which is just something we grow up with. And he was looking to do what they call the second line beat. And he says, "That's what you do when you're playing." I said, "Well, I'll show you. You know, is anybody in the blue room now?" He says, "No." I said, "Well, when I'm finished, we'll go over and we'll look at your bass and we'll see." So I take him over there and we sit down and he starts showing me what another musician in New Orleans wrote down on the paper for him to play. It was similar to like something like that. But he had a little extra notes in it. And I said, "Well, those are the right notes they would fit, but let me hear you play it." So he plays it, and that's what it sounded like. heard music around it, you know, well, I can't think of a song like. Anyway, it would fit, but it wasn't what I grew up in knowing what second line music was. What it is, I couldn't tell him dotted eighth or half note here and that, because that didn't make any sense. So I told him this story, which I made up on the spot, and I've been using it ever since. There was this big, fat man in a tuxedo called Eustace. He was the head of the Olympia brass band. He was the guy in the front that has the umbrella and the tuxedo. And he's an Afro-American, and mostly the whole band was. And you'd watch him coming down the street, and this old man would be in front for years. Well, in his older days, he got to a point where he had something really bad with his legs. I don't know if it was phlebitis or whatever, but he had a hard time walking without a walker. But every time he had to go do a parade, he used a walker to get to the beginning of the parade. They took his walker, they took his umbrella, and he marched that whole parade without the walker. And in the process, he kind of walked in a way like he was in pain. And he walked like this. Something like that. And so if you're going to play the bass and think of that man walking, you're going to have the New Orleans feel, which goes like this. That's the feel. And if you do that in the whole context of a whole song, it varies because of what's going on in the song, but you still have that same kind of parade kind of march where it kind
So conceptually, what we're going to do on Letters from Everett project, we're going to create a song based off these stories. Now, for example, this groove you just played here with the New Orleans funk, we have a song title called It Only Hurts When It's Funky, and we're going to write a song based on all of Everett's stories. Anything else you want to say, Everett, to these wonderful people out there in the world of the...
Oh, we're writing it now? No.
So we definitely want them to help fund this project.
Right.
If not, they'll be the missing link. Get it? Everett?
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say this, that New Orleans is known all around the world for its music. And there's such a wide variety of music in the city. But everybody seems to, when they come here, they gravitate to that parade beat, they gravitate to Dixieland jazz, and they gravitate to what we call the funk feel, and it's all done our way. So my concept is that we should involve other people, like drummers, for instance, piano players, some funky guitar players, and maybe some other bass players who could give us their concept of how they approach that funky feel, and have some musical and videos of those things happening, so that we can present I call it the woodshed side of New Orleans music. Woodshed is where you go to practice, in case you don't know. You go behind the woodshed because it's too loud to be in the house. That was the old days. That's how I look at it.
And so we're going to link all these stories of music together. Get it? Link them together.
Oh, well, of course, we're going to link them together. I like your thinking there. You know, I am a musician, and musicians are a little egotistical, just a little. So let's go link this thing together. I like it.